Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at 4 completely different lies around the edge of a green, similar distance. My balls, I've got 4 different balls all lined up here. We've got 3 here, we're going to show you the basic shot. We've got 4 different lies, similar distance. I mean, they're probably only 5 yards apart, but we've got 4 completely different ways I need to play this shot. So we're just going to show you the basic shot to start with, okay? I'm sitting here, and that's why I've got 3 balls to show it. I've got around about 15 yards of trouble to get over, and then I've got around about 7-8 yards of green to get to the flag, and I've probably got 10 yards of green past the flag. So let's use a little bit of my data. What would be a good shot from here? And we're going to talk about a single figure golfer. Okay, good shot from here would get it around about, from a nice lie, around about 10 feet. Now, one of the lies we're going to go through, or a couple of the lies, are going to be a little bit more awkward. And what's important to understand, when you're really in thick rough or a bad lie, the chances of you getting it within 10 feet are going to increase. So to be honest, even if you get it within 30-35 feet, you're doing fine. And this is a single figure golfer. And the way I look at short game is, because it's not a power side of the game, I always feel everybody has an opportunity here to be as good as a single figure golfer. So even if you are a 25 handicap golfer, there's no reason why you can't be, from say 30 yards in, your basic chipping, your putting, why you couldn't be as good as a single figure golfer. Okay, because it's not looking for power. If you haven't got the power to hit it 220 yards off the tee, you can only hit it 150, it's going to be very difficult to play single figure golf. But let's see if we can get this part of the game to that level. So I'm just going to play the standard shot. And the club I've got here, I've got my 56 degree. And my rule always, if you've watched my video, is what I call the 2-step rule. I will always look, if possible, to land the ball on the green, and I would like to land the ball at least 2 steps onto the green. The reason for that, why I do it, is because the best surface on the golf course, at most golf courses, I say 99% of golf courses, the best surface is the green. So you'd expect the most consistent bounce in that position. So that's why we're going to do it. So everything I'm going to look to do in these shots is to land it there. I know also then, as we said, we've got quite a bit of green behind. So if I'm playing this standard shot here, I can land it comfortably on the green. Even if it runs that 10-12 feet past, that's absolutely fine. Okay, this is a shot on average with a decent lie. I would only get up and down as a single figure golfer about 20% of the time. And that's why that 10-foot number. You will hole about 20% of 10-footers as a single figure golfer. I know that seems alarming, but watch the stats on TV. Even the top players, it comes up at 10 feet. These are the best players in the world. It won't be 50-60%. It will be nearer 30%, and they're the best players in the world. Okay, so let's get on with the shot. So I'm looking at this shot here, and we'll just show you this camera angle from this position. Standard shot, so you can see what we're looking at. Just letting the club sit naturally. It's full 56 degrees of loft. Pretty central stance, a little bit narrow. From there, I'm just going to let the club slide under, pop it up over the trouble that we had in front of us. And the result is, well, I'll take that every day of the week. It's probably about 18 inches from the hole. But you can see the flow of the shot, nice and free. I'm not trying to do anything amazing. I'm trusting the loft of the club. I'm using the loft of the club to do the job for me. There we go. We're over the trouble. We're onto the green. We're doing what we set out to do. Okay. Now this one's sitting down just a touch, but I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to play the same shot. I still feel the club is designed to help me out. Get a result from there. So let the club reach the bottom of the arc. It pops up. Yeah, it came out. You get what we call, every now and again, when you get a lie like that, it's still only probably gone 15 feet past, you get what we call a little bit of a flyer. What do we mean by a flyer? Well, you can see there, I know I've hit 3 shots, but that last one, the groove's filled up with grass, and then you don't get as much backspin. So it seems to come out a little bit quick. It comes out a bit further than you expect. But because I've stuck to the same routine, we've played 3 balls there quite nicely. One about a foot from the hole, one about 5 feet, and that one went probably around about 15 feet past the hole. So let's look at these 3 other lies. What are we going to do to change, but still look to get a similar result? That's the key thing. I'd love to see that flight that I got with my 56 from a standard lie from the 3 shots that we're going to give you. Okay, so let's go and look at one now that's sitting down a little bit in grass and a little bit on a downhill lie. What would we do to give ourselves the opportunity to get the result that we want? So here's our second shot, and what we've created now is a little bit more of a downhill lie. We know the distance from that camera. We're looking at this camera so you can understand the slope. and I've got two clubs here. I've got my 56, and I'm just going to use this to understand the slope. If I just lay that on the ground there, you can see the head of the club is much lower than the handle. So this is what we call a downhill lie. And what you've got to understand is we never want to fight the lie. We always want to work with the lie. And the key thing here when you play the shot is you want to feel your weight going with the slope. So the low point is here on my left foot, my lower foot. I want to let my weight go that way. I want to feel like I'm tilting my angles. My shoulder line is the same angle as the golf club on the ground. If I do that, there's a good opportunity that I'm going to come in and strike the ball cleanly. Now, when you play off a downhill lie, it's going to make the ball go lower. So the easy way to think it, downhill lie is going to make the ball go down, uphill lie is going to make it go up. Okay, so my 56 degrees worked lovely from a flat lie. I want to take that out of the equation. That's not going to work. In my bag, I've got my 60 degree, okay? So I know I've given myself a little bit more loft. And the idea is that if I now get my body angles going with the slope, and the easy way to remember this, wherever you feel the weight go, that's where your weight goes. Where the ball position is favouring middle to the higher foot, the opposite foot. And what that gives you the encouragement to do is the handle of the club will favour the front of the ball. And if it favours the front of the ball, it gives you the chance to slide down. What I see with golfers here, natural instinct, and I get why you do it, is your body will lean back thinking, well, I want to go backwards. And the end result is then you end up catching the ground here, or you top the ball, or you fluff it 2 feet in front of you, and you don't really get rid of the problem. So the goal here is to stay on that low side. Stay there the whole time. Trust the loft. I've got 60 degrees here. So from there, imagining the same point, so I'm aiming where I'm going, keeping the weight there. You can see how my legs, looks like this leg's a lot more bent than this one, and I just want to keep it there. Look how I'm going to keep that flex in my legs as I play the shot. Okay, and that's popped up nicely, and it's run. Where we played the one with the slightly fluffier lie, and it went about 15 feet away, that's gone just probably a couple of feet past that. So from an awkward lie, which we said if you get that, and you can get it maybe 30, 35 feet, it's probably ended up about 20 feet away from the hole. But the biggest thing I did there is I kept the weight going onto that low side. Once I'd set it, I stayed there. I didn't change it. Okay, let's look at our third shot, which goes back to more of a what I call a traditional lie again, but we've got something in the way. You know what it looks like from that angle. It's like this is an old bunker that's been taken out. The next lie, we've got a little bit of a ridge in front of us. So we're going to take it more from this angle, but we're not going to change too much. So here's our third shot. We're in the sort of the bottom of this little old bunker, well, looking bunker. And this is simple. The key thing, I see a lot of golfers, they start to change their mindset. They try to do too many different things. The second shot, I had to change what I was doing. But I'm just going to play the first shot again. I'm trusting the loft. I've got this bank in front of me, but I've got a 56 degree golf club. If I hit it correctly, and you saw how I hit it off that lie, it'll go up in the air, it'll go over the trouble. So I'm not going to talk too much about this shot. I'm just going back to a pretty central stance, narrow stance, let the 56 degrees there. Look to land it at 2 or 3 paces onto the green. Pops itself nicely over the trouble. 10 foot would be good from there, and that's pretty much where we've ended up, probably about 8 to 10 feet from the hole. So that was quite a simple one. I didn't want to try and make that any more complicated. That went back to the original shot. I trusted the loft. The bank doesn't exist. It's gone. Let's look at our fourth shot. So here's our fourth and final shot, and it's the opposite to the downhill lie. We're now on an uphill lie. Okay, and the tour player likes this shot because if the ball's going to go up, he knows he's going to get good elevation. He knows the ball's going to stop, and I want you to think that way. But the whole idea of this video is, can you start to get a similar flight with all your shots? Okay, I like to see round the greens that 56 working well for this particular shot. The downhill lie, I went to the 60. To be honest, I'd like to have had a little bit more loft than that even because of the severity of the slope. I went back to my 56. But now, if I look at my 56 and I go through the same rules of the downhill lie and I let my angles go with the slope, my 56 is probably off this lie is going to become nearer 65. So that's way too much loft. I've never practiced a 65 degree shot, so I don't know what it's going to do. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm now actually amazingly going to take a club that I think when I tilt my body with the angles of the slope, it will now become a 56. Okay, and this is quite a severe slope. So I'm actually going to a 9-iron, okay? And you'll see as we tilt the body, same rules. Let's put that club on the ground. There's the low point, there's the high point. Go through the same rules. Weight always goes to the low point. That gets my angles now going with the slope. that's going to make this ball go high. So this little ridge in front of me, it doesn't really matter because the angle is going to come off there. I'm not driving it forward, which could make it go into the bank. I'm letting myself go with the slope. That's the important thing. Again, it's a short shot. So again, all I'm going to do here, grip down the club a little bit. It's an 8-iron. But you can see my angles. Look how I'm tilting my body with the slope. I'm just going to swing with the slope. Look to land it that 2 or 3 paces onto the green again. Yep, that's nice. And that's going to run down inside. Well, probably dug in a little bit, that one. So we're about 12 feet away from the hole. So, similar distance from the hole. 4 completely different lies that we've given ourselves. What I'd call a standard lie, 10 feet. Awkward, thick, rough, we got that to about 20 feet. But we're on that downhill lie. Okay, remember, whichever the slope, okay, you always tilt with the slope. If it's this way, I know you're going to be looking at my backside now, but we're there and we go down the slope. You never fight the slope because all you'll end up doing is burying the club into the slope, or you'll top the ball. It won't work. So downhill lie, feel where your weight wants to go. You'll feel like it wants to go onto your lower foot all the time. Position the ball central to higher foot. It will lose loft on the downhill lie, so if you've got more loft in the bag, use it and let the club do it for you, okay? We then went more to a standard lie, just with a bank in front of us, but we trusted the loft. It worked really well. And then we went to a club with less loft, but because of the tilt of the slope, it added the loft back onto the shot. So for me, it allows you to realize, yeah, I'm getting a very similar ball fly. Look at my balls on the green. We've got one within about a foot to 15 inches. The furthest away is about 25 feet away. I'll take that all day long. Single figure golfer, you do that, you're giving yourself a great chance. From those positions, a single figure golfer, probably going to get 2 of them up and down, the other 3 down in 3. That's pretty good. I'll work with that. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a little bit different to how you can hit a shot down a hole and seek 4 completely different shots 5 yards apart. If you have enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends. Press that little bell if you subscribe to the channel, so you get notifications of my videos. Make sure you've turned that on your phone. I'm getting a lot of people saying to me, look, I'm not getting the notifications. Make sure it's not turned off on your phone. Make sure, go into the settings, make sure it's working. Every Tuesday and Friday, you'll get a new video. I hope you keep enjoying them, and I look forward to seeing you soon.